Hello, it's Carly McAvoy. I wanted to talk to you today about how to know what will be on your math test. This is sort of insight into your math instructor's mind. So first of all, sounds obvious, but go to class. During the lecture, instructors might actually pause and say, this will be on the test. And then notice problems you are given to work in class while the instructor walks around to check for understanding. Also take note of the directions that are given. This will help you recognize that problem type on the day of the test. Frequently, instructors will hand out a practice test or practice problems before the test, and you need to be in class to get that. Next, take notes. 1, your instructor will spend class time on the content they think is the most important for you to see and hear. If they explain something more than one time or work the same kind of problem multiple times, take note of that by putting a star next to it or circling it or highlight that problem in some way in your notes. Sometimes your instructor will work one problem and then describe a problem with a slight variation. For example, they might say, simplify 5 times the quantity 3x minus 7, and then say, of course, you should be able to simplify this problem even if the whole numbers are replaced by fractions. That's a hint. Next to that problem, write, find a similar problem with fractions. If you don't think you can find a problem like that, stop by your instructor's desk on the way out and say, can you show me what this problem might look like with fractions? Do the homework. Homework is practice for the test, and the instructor chooses problems because they think they're important. If you do a few homework assignments in a row and find 2 or 3 particular problem types emerging on each assignment, highlight them in some way. If your instructor has had you do them multiple times, that means they're probably going to show up on your test. When pressed for time, start an assignment at the end and work backwards. The ones at the end are probably harder and more likely to end up on a test. Often students do the first half of the assignment and then never get to the more important second half. Of course, my advice is to do all the problems all the time. As you are completing the homework, take note of the directions. Understanding what is being asked is a vital part of completing the question correctly, and it may help you avoid freezing up during a test. Some questions may look alike, and without the directions, you may carry out the wrong procedure. Notice quiz and activity questions. If a problem is on a quiz, it is probably fair game for the test. Often the test question will vary slightly from the quiz question. So after you finish the quiz, go to your book or online program and work other problems from the same section. Often an instructor will give problems to a group of students that are slightly harder than what you would find in your homework. The thinking is that the collective will be able to solve something that is harder than the individual would be able to do on their own. However, once you've seen the solution, the instructor may decide to include it on a test. Don't be afraid to question your group members and your instructor until you fully understand the question. Don't just let your group members turn something in that you don't understand. Putting it all together. A few days before the test, go through your notes, homework, quizzes, and group work and write out any problems that you have starred or circled. Make note of similar problem type warnings and include them in your self-made practice test. Work the problems out and use them for test day notes if they are allowed. If no notes are allowed, this process will still benefit you because the act of making the practice test is more beneficial than having notes on the day of the test. When you get your first test back, compare your self-made test with the actual test and see how you did. Make adjustments accordingly, and each time your practice test will better resemble the actual exam. Have a fantastic